I'm not even a feminist. I don't give a crap about feminists arguing amongst themselves about who's the most victimized.
I'm excited. They got Just Pearly Things on here with these other young ladies. I'm about to see her really do her thing against these. See, Vice has a video out and it's called Anti and Pro-Feminist Debate Abortion, Trans Rights, and the Me Too Movement. And shout out to Lou Valentino. If you're not already following Lou Valentino, please go follow Lou Valentino. He's a dope young man who we actually had a couple of talks on this channel. Go check him out, man. He's amazing. But he suggested inside of this Twitch chat that we go ahead and check out this video right here. And let's talk about it, man. Let's have some conversations. Also, if you are here and you want to say something, like you want your voice to be heard and you want to cut on your camera, only if you want to cut on your camera, you go to the Hangout, you let me know you there, and I'll pull you up so you can say what you want to say. All right? Gotta have your camera on, but let me know that you're there, all right? All right, let's go.
How is it sexism when we have no barriers today? So we can pick what we want to pick.
Who doesn't have barriers?
Women don't have barriers?
Women, yeah. What's
we
stopping
have no
you? You
barriers.
can do whatever you want.
I can or you can?
What's stopping you?
Hold on. I didn't know that I wasn't showing that. That was crazy, yeah. Oh man, you're slipping. Look at this right here.
How is it sexism when
That's
we have no
totally
barriers today? So we can pick
has
what
no
we want to
barriers?
pick.
Who doesn't have barriers?
Women don't have barriers?
Women, yeah. What's
We have
stopping
no
you? You can do
barriers.
whatever you want.
I can or you can?
What's stopping you?
Should we mark this bad boy at all?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here we go.
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Liz Landers, I'm Vice News' chief political correspondent, and we are here today to talk about some of the biggest issues dividing women across the country. In other words, we're here to talk about feminism. First, I just want to say, we know we can't represent everybody's views, but we did try our best to bring together a diverse group of women today. In today's polarized world, is feminism dead? I saw your hand.
I think that depends on the definition of feminism. I strongly think that feminism is more of an action than an identity.
I'm actually looking forward to hearing this conversation because, and I know y'all said, but if you're looking forward to hearing it, then daggone stop pausing it, bruh. Well, that's what we do. That's what reactors do. That's the whole fun about reacting, okay? You get to review things in your own time, as natural and as organic as you can possibly be. You review whatever content you're reviewing. You just do it live. Don't change who you are. Don't rush who you are, and don't believe that you have to just do what everyone else is doing. You do not. Okay, be yourself. All right, and you're going to draw the type of community that believe in you. And they draw to you, and you're going to draw to them. You're going to learn things from them, and they're going to learn from you. Okay, let me shut up now. Okay, we're going to get back to it.
I would say it's uplifting all women, in which case it's very alive. At the same time, if we do follow that definition, feminism has splintered off into so many different areas that you can look at people like Sheryl Sandberg who say you should just get another nanny if you feel oppressed. And if we're talking about that kind of feminism, yeah, it's pretty dead.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the human race exists, feminism will never be dead. There's something that we're always going to have to strive and work towards to make sure that there's equality. So feminism is not dead.
I don't know that it can die. As long as there's power and oppression, there will be people fighting for equity.
Did she say, as long as there's power in oppression, people will be fighting for equity? Wow, I never heard it said that way. There is power in oppression? So is that why people go through great lengths in order to win the victimhood Olympics? The more you are oppressed, now I got power because I can complain about every single thing that's not working for me? I never heard it that way. I had to touch on that part. I don't know if you missed it, but she said there's power in oppression, man. So that's why you see so many people with their daggone fist up complaining about where they are. And then you have other people gonna be like, man, shut up. You're nothing but a grain of sand. Relax. Relax. The same way you go through stuff, the same way they go through stuff, they go through stuff, they go through stuff, they go through stuff. Now you are special to God, but you're not special to me. And it's okay. You don't have to throw your oppression on anybody. Just handle your business. Do what you got to do.
And until that somehow goes away, feminism is alive and well.
I think feminism isn't actually about equality. It's about equality when it benefits us. I think feminism is really about women wanting special privileges and treatment at the expense of men often. And I think it's alive and well, sadly.
She knows that she is starting stuff. That's pearly things. I didn't understand you before. I honestly didn't even like you at first because I thought you talked too much as a woman about men's stuff. And I'm like, how do you know so much about men's stuff? You're a woman. But then I started listening to you and I'm like, she knows what she's talking about a lot. Now, I wouldn't say all the time, but a lot.
I think feminism is also alive and well. There are different kinds of feminism, right? Like, that is obvious. And for me, as a womanist, as a Black feminist, right, as someone who's really thinking about human rights, dignity, right, equity, right, as long as that need isn't met, we're still gonna keep fighting.
I'd say it's alive and well. I'd say that it's also very nuanced, and I think what it looks like is gonna differ depending on where you are in the world. For me, I just see it as a lens, which isn't necessarily antagonistic or protagonistic. It's just a useful tool.
Similar to what?
It's a useful tool. I agree with her. Feminism is a useful tool. That's what it is. And they're fighting for equity. That's it. That was the third person that said equity.
Pearl just said, I find that a lot of feminist ideology and thought today feels more of like a supremacist movement rather than something that is supposed to be advancing the goals of equality. I don't think that we can really term what's going on as feminism because it looks so different to, I think, the earlier feminist movements. So in that way, I would say it's taken its last breaths of life. It's dying.
Yeah, I definitely think it's getting more and more radicalized, for sure. So it's definitely still alive.
I think I'll preface and say that I don't know so much about modern Western feminism, and there might be a lot of terms that I don't know, like political jargon and stuff. But I believe in the advancement of women, whoever considers themselves a woman. I think there's a deficiency in society. So it's deeply rooted that.
What the hell is she talking about? Whoever considers themselves a woman. Whoever considers themselves a woman. Look, young lady. I ain't even gonna touch that. We'll get back on it later.
Feminism has always existed. I think America's a little obsessed with themselves, and it's like always feminism is rooted in America. And like, oh, white women started it. And it's kind of offensive because for thousands of years, women have been dying for their rights.
I think as a Black woman specifically, when you talk about feminism, yeah, the mainstream first thing you think about is a certain type of feminism that tends to exclude still, even today, even with intersectional feminism, exclude African-American women, and it's always kind of done that. And also upper middle class white women has predominantly been the face of what we quote unquote consider feminism.
I think feminism is attempting to say, okay, the first thing we agree on is that there are barriers and friction to what I need and what I want based on the fact that I'm a woman. What it ignores is that, and what privilege is that you may not have to think that being a woman and being a Black woman and being a Black woman who has a disability, for example, impacts you further.
Hold on. Not impacts you further. Not impacts you further. Don't say that. But you miss gay too. You can't leave that one out. Being a woman, being a Black woman, and being a woman with a disability. She's telling everyone right now that I am the winner here. Like when you look at all of your lives, Just understand, I am King Dingaling in this building. That's me. I'm King Dingaling. All right? I'm a woman and I'm disabled. All right? So I win. I'm the most oppressed. And now she's using that as much as possible. She's using her voice to speak up for people who are willing to complain and not move forward. I bet she's educated. I bet she's successful. And I will wonder how in the hell she was able to do that if she's a woman and disabled, but she want to tell everyone else to hold yourselves back and just complain and wait for someone to save you when it doesn't work that way.
You have more barriers, you have more friction, you are less able to get what you want, you're undervalued in a way that's like, okay, well, you know, that's life. That's what I mean by equity, and that we're able to, without friction, all get the same needs met.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I disagree with that. I think life is easier if you're a girl, actually.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of benefits that men don't have. I'm not going to speak anything to race. I'm just talking about gender specifically. It's usually like an excuse. Like, honestly, I think as a girl, you have equal opportunity in the world. I think there's benefits. Like, for example, we have quotas for women in specific jobs that are given to us that aren't given to men. So yeah, I would say it's easier being a girl.
Just from a viewpoint over here, though, it seems there's a lot of pretty privilege in what you're saying, and that you're...
Wow. So just because you think she's attractive, like you think she's attractive, you are putting that on her. Other people in the building probably don't even think she's pretty, but you want to put that on her and label her before you attack her. Before I say something, I want to say, see, you're dealing with some pretty privilege. There's some pretty privilege going on up there. And that's the only reason why you're so, messed up in the brain. Well, no, you just need to listen.
You're white and you present...
Do you think I'm pretty? Thank you.
I think that you present in a way that beauty standards have accepted. And so...
They call me ugly on the internet all the time. They be roasting me daily, I swear to God.
I don't mean to say I think you're gorge. I just mean that there a certain value that we give to certain bodies.
I mean, let's also dig into why these quotas exist and why these, what you're calling privileges exist.
Because we want special treatment.
No, it's because there have historically and presently in most jobs been fewer women and because of sexism.
How is it sexism when we have no barriers today? So we can pick what we want to pick.
It doesn't have barriers.
Women don't have barriers?
Women.
Let's hear about these barriers. Let me tell you something. Let's hear about these barriers. They about to start talking about the barriers. Okay, let's go.
And yeah, what's stopping you? You can do whatever you want.
I can or you can?
What's stopping you? As a woman.
That ignores a lot that I'm a woman with a disability. So there's a lot stopping me that you don't have to think about.
Well, as I said before, I'm speaking about women.
You're speaking for yourself.
You're speaking as an able-bodied white woman.
I
that is white. Represents white.
Of course.
Oh my gracious, y'all see what they just now did? They just now attacked her for attacking the lady that's disabled. They're saying, no, you're speaking as a able-bodied woman, and you're talking to a disabled woman. You need to check yourself. She is way more of a victim than any of us. We need to daggone lift her up and take her to the bathroom. We need to go get her some food. We need to wash her feet. We need to go home and fix pancakes for her kids. We need to take care of her. That lady don't need y'all help, and because she don't need y'all help, she is good. Now, she's disabled. She should receive certain other benefits for being disabled. I got you on that. Because she's disabled. You help people out that's disabled, but she is good. You look at this lady right now, man, she's able to speak up for herself just like anybody else. And everybody in there is trying to take her side because she's disabled all of a sudden. They will always want to pick out the thing that oppresses people, man.
Of course there's going to be other barriers if you're disabled, I'm sure. Like, I'm talking about as a woman.
So you're just going to ignore
white
the
women
pay
have it
gap.
easier, yes. I would agree.
What?
You're just going to ignore the pay gap, regulation over bodies.
The pay gap has been disproven and debunked.
The pay gap doesn't exist,
my friend.
It doesn't. It's the industries that women pick.
Let's talk about it.
There's a pay gap, but it's because women don't want to do the hardest industries.
I don't think...
wow, pearly things. Oh man, she's giving them the business.
I think it's that simple. I think that's an oversimplification. I think the fact of the matter is that women structure their lives differently to men. Men don't give birth. Men don't have to carry pregnancies. Men don't have to be the primary caregiver most of the time. Women also don't hold jobs for as long as men do. They often will stop and start. They'll go back into work. They'll take time off. They'll take part-time jobs. The way that men work and women work are astronomically different. And to try to say that they're comparable is where this issue comes from. They're not comparable.
Two things. First of all, let's dig into why they think that they should take these jobs, which is societal sexism. And then also, Department of Labor, all statistics, at least speaking in the US, have found that when compared for the same jobs, there still is a pay gap, particularly when it pertains to race.
Because 60% of women have never asked for a raise. So how can you complain about your pay if you don't ask for it?
Why are they not? Wait, what happens when women ask for a raise? Sorry, I've been wanting to say something, but I want to be respectful. I don't want to interrupt people, and I want to let them finish their thoughts.
Jump in,
but
go through the wall.
It is a very privileged label, right, to be able to say that you're feminist, right? And I say that because I come from a working class background of Dominican immigrant parents. My mother would not necessarily identify as a feminist. I look to my mother, and I do think of her as a feminist. A lot of my ideas and my empowerment comes from seeing her survive and put food on the table. When I'm thinking about feminism, I'm always thinking about who's not part of the conversation. What are the barriers? How do we think about equity? How do we think about self-empowerment and agency and having a voice, right, and having choice? And thinking about our basic human rights, education, access to health, homes, having bread, having food, and those things are very important, right? And they're at the crux, right, of what a lot of us here know that we need. It's there are the barriers, right, that we constantly ignore that are very much systemic and microaggressive, right? We see them and experience them every day.
Like what in the U.S.? Like what?
Now, I will say this. Based off what she just now said, in my opinion, I think she said some things that are sensible and worth hearing. But at the end of the day, she's focusing on the barriers and not how they're able to do so much regardless of any type of barriers. The one thing that's holding her back, that mentality right there, is so messed up. It's messed up in any mentality to think about being great at a thing but only focus on the barriers. Yeah. If you're running a business, you want to think about the bottleneck, okay? But only once. You want to think about that bottleneck. You want to come up with a plan to make sure that you're able to, be good regardless of it, and then still thrive. You still want to thrive. You want to strive for success. Now, you cannot just sit back and wait for somebody to do the job for you and complain and complain and complain. Whereas we all know right now that society is starting to fall because men are getting weaker and weaker. And because men are getting weaker and weaker, women are really starting to take over a lot of top jobs that men used to have. And we can't blame the women for that. We got to blame the weak men for that, right? But that's only because we aren't focusing on what we need to focus on. That's why these conversations to me are important. I really think they are. Now, I'm not right about almost anything I talk about. Only thing I'm right about is myself, what I know about me. That's it. But it's good to hear these ladies talk about this. I just don't like when they focus on the barriers, the things that's preventing them from getting over the hump. Don't focus on the barriers, man. You gotta focus on the parts that you have control over. That's it. And you also, if you're going to focus on the barriers, you need to equally give praise to all of the different things that are helping you right now, that are benefiting you right now. Don't just go against the grain. Also be optimistic. Okay, what does the optimistic side of you say?
What would you like to know an example of?
I know you said that there's barriers. I want to know what barriers in the U.S. today as a woman.
Well, as a woman or as a woman of color? Let's be specific.
As a woman. I said as a woman.
Well, no, I can't answer as a woman.
You answer as a woman and a woman of color. How about that? Answer as a woman and a woman of color. Please do that.
I feel like your question is kind of hostile when you're like, There are no barriers to what I want. Congratulations, that means you have a privilege.
How about this, young lady? How about the lady she asked the question to answer the question? Or, since you want to interrupt the lady that was attempting to answer the question of the barriers, how about you answer the question of the barriers rather than attacking her for having a different way of thinking? Oh, when you say this, she even making fun of her mannerisms. What if she made fun of your mannerisms? Guess what will happen? If Pearly Things made fun of that lady's mannerisms that's in that wheelchair, everybody in there would go off on Pearly Things because Pearly Things would come off seeming insensitive. And right now, this other lady, the one with the disability that we can see, because who's to say other people in there don't have a disability? A physical disability is not the only disability. There's a lot of people in there with mental disabilities, clearly by how they think. Now, I'm not always right. Don't claim to be. But I just want to point this out. If you're going to make fun, you're going to throw stones at other people, you need to understand there's a few that could be thrown back at you. For real.
Where you're not facing any friction, and that's showing, and I feel like it's
I think as an American, you're very privileged.
I'm not
ignoring that.
We're at a basic level of what, the feminist movement is when it comes to just being born a woman, right? Physically, pound for pound, we are born as women and we have less lean muscle mass than men. So there are issues of violence and assault and stuff like that. And so therefore, there are policies, there are things to help women physically, like, for example, I believe being able to carry a firearm and being able to use that safely to defend yourself against men who are born naturally with more muscle mass than a woman.
I keep hearing the term.
Okay, was those barriers though? Like, we're talking about physical assault and whatnot? Okay.
Equity, what would a world that has equity look like? Like, would it be 50% of everyone in the same jobs? Would it be like prison, 50%?
That's equality.
50%. So what does equity look like?
So equity is generally described as a state of fairness because historically a lot of people have been arguing for equality, but what does that give us? Like 0.5 of the 1% being women, this doesn't really do anything for us. And so people have talked about equity instead, which is instead of sameness, it's fairness. And this would mean that we remove systemic barriers to engage in society, not just for women, but also for everyone.
So which barriers?
Those barriers that you don't believe in.
What does it do for you to have a bunch of ramps in your life? It doesn't do shit. I need those ramps, right?
Can we stick to male versus female? That's my question. So I'm thinking male versus female.
But feminist.
Yeah, because she just want to continue that lady in the wheelchair. She just want to continue to bring up the fact that I am here and I am the most disabled and we need to talk about me. We need to talk about me. And the only time she shuts her mouth, the only time this lady shuts up is when somebody who is on her team, somebody who's on her team is taking over the realm and is explaining something to Pearly Things. As if, okay, you got it. They going straighten you out. And then you just listen, and if they didn't say something that you wanted to say, well, she said everything that I was going to say, but she didn't add wheelchair. Well, guess what? I need ramps in my life. And until you can say something about that, calm down.
It includes ability, it includes
my
race.
question is
You
for
guys
women.
can talk.
Women versus men. Like, what barriers do we need removed? Because that's my statement. I'm not stating anything else. I'm stating women versus men.
It's very silly.
Like, so what barrier? I just want to.
The question is.
It's not very silly. Answer the questions.
Fair question.
So, yeah, but
it's not a fair question. It's
how is it not a fair question?
Kind of proving the point of what people, especially Black women, other people anybody who's not white, why we hear feminism and we don't want that label because it means. I'm just gonna say it means that. Like, it means that you've already gotten to a pinnacle of whatever you think your happiness needs or whatever your survivalist needs are, when there are people on lower end who are trying to survive, who are trying to get to a point of what should be normal, based on what other people have.
It sort of sounds like you're saying feminism is not always inclusive then.
Right. It's most of the time it's not inclusive. It more times than not, it's not. So, and within just feminism space, again, there obviously the very basic is male versus female versus, but unfortunately, we've only had one subset of women be the face and voice and the academics and research and everything to be able to say, well, that's the standard we need to be in, when there are other people who are still trying to get to.
I still want to know what is a barrier that you're dealing with. Just want to know. Just want them to answer that question. Why can't they answer that one question?
To some type of normalcy and just living.
What is the biggest issue then that feminism faces?
I think it's the mindset. Women taking the agency, women taking initiative. I think it's mindset holding them back a lot, because if you want to be in a competitive world and compete, you have to have the right mindset. And I think a lot of people blame their lack of confidence or what society tells them for the reason they're not achieving what they need to achieve, when that's not the case. You have to have the mindset of achieving, because the men who built the world had the mindset of building it. So the women who want to engage and build that further, they need to have that same mindset.
Okay, I agree. I think that was a good answer. Good answer. What you think? No? Maybe? Okay. Of course not.
I don't think we do. I think that's assuming that we all want to be capitalist babies.
Right.
I think that men are not well adjusted in the society, and women are not trying to re-embody what they have built for us. I think that what we're forgetting is a very important detail, which is just human respect and dignity.
Yeah,
and not asking people to prove what their experience is and to prove to you. It is
human respect and dignity to not ask someone to prove what they're. So she's pretty much saying just pearly things has no human respect nor dignity. That's what she's saying. Just pearly things has no human respect nor dignity, because by her asking them, okay, then tell me what barriers are in your way of being able to achieve the things you want to achieve. Tell me the barriers that she is trying to prove. She's trying to get you to, she's trying to prove that you have nothing to complain about. How dare you do that? I feel like I got something to complain about. And if I feel like it, well, that's what Ben Shapiro said, well, facts don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. And if you're going to move out there in the real world, hoping to get to the next level that you want to get to, and you want to do it by depending on your feelings, it ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. And just like James Brown said, it's a man's world, but it don't mean nothing without a woman or a girl. So your parts are definitely necessary. We all have to work together. But the problem is, when we start complaining that we're not receiving this and we're not receiving that, so we can't do our jobs because of it, society goes to the sugar honey iced tea-er. I'm not going to say the word.
Such conservative thinking to say, I don't understand, explain it to me, versus just saying, I don't understand, and let me respect what you are saying.
I'm respecting wherever your starting point. I'm respecting that. I'm really respecting that. I'm saying that if you don't have the mindset you can even achieve it, you're never going to even try. So it's never.
Achieve what? What are we talking?
Hey, listen. If you don't have the mindset that you can't achieve it, you won't ever even try. Never achieve what? What are you saying?
Talking about, because I feel like you've projected this capitalist ideology on every woman.
Achieve.
You're adding this capitalist ideology onto every woman. I knew capitalism was a nasty word to some people, but I never understood why.
Whatever it is you're looking for, equality, equity. But what I'm saying is, women in the feminist space and a lot of these other spaces, we don't acknowledge that we have to take the initiative. We have to take the action. We have to have the mindset. We have to demand those things.
I don't understand how we're getting so off topic. This is about feminism today, whereas everybody wants to make this about their individual, here are all the multitude of other things that factor into my person. Great. This is about feminism. It's about womanhood. I understand that all of you have your own individual experiences and the other things that feed into you as a person. That's perfectly fine. But this is where intersectionality falls off the planet and loses, I would argue, probably the vast majority of people, including me. I'm not even a feminist. I don't give a crap about feminists arguing amongst themselves about who's the most victimized. But this is annoying to.
Oh my gracious. Who is that? Who is that? Y'all let me know in the comments who that is. Who is that? Who is that? My gracious, hold on. She is lighting their tails up. Hold on, I need to hear her again. Hold on 1 second. I apologize. Rewind selector, she is killing.
And that all of you have your own individual experiences and the other things that feed into you as a person, that's perfectly fine. But this is where intersectionality falls off the planet and loses, I would argue, probably the vast majority of people, including me. I'm not even a feminist. I don't give a crap about feminists arguing amongst themselves about who's the most victimized.
Yo, she is a beast. That lady right there, she is a beast. I don't know who she is, but when I find out who she is, I'm going to find out more of her videos. I'm going to look at them. I'm going to discuss them. I'm going to get some commentary. I'm going to record them. I'm going to edit them. And I'm going to put them up because she is something else. 2023. She, whoever she is. Yeah. Woo! Hoo-hoo! Okay, let's get back to it. That was lovely.
But this is annoying to listen to. I honestly I don't understand anything anybody's even trying to get at.
Look, I just want to say that I don't think equity and this concept of competition can't coexist with each other. Equity is building more facilities for people who need them. It is recognizing that there are holes in the market and there's opportunities for women and feminine, expansive people and meeting those opportunities. I think equity can buoy the
of women and feminine what? Feminine who people?
Need them. It is recognizing that there are holes in the market and there's opportunities for women and feminine, expansive people.
Feminine, expansive people? What the hell is a feminine, expansive people? You thought I was gonna miss that, didn't you? She thought I was he. Is that a he or a she? What is that? Hold on. You thought I was gonna miss that.
Competition can't coexist with each other. Equity is building more facilities for people who need them. It is recognizing that there are holes in the market and there's opportunities for women and feminine, expansive people and meeting those.
Feminine, expansive people. That is not a word, man. That's not a daggone word. It's not a term. Feminine, expansive people. That's not a term. Feminine, expansive people. Where did they have the meeting where they said, we need to figure out, for the people who want to be women, who are expanding and expanding, they are becoming better, just who they are. And they're more in touch with their feminine side. They are expansive people. Feminine, expansive. That's the most bull sugar honey iced tea I ever heard in my life, man. Come on.